Hello and welcome. Before I get into the message, I would love for you to be a part of this YouTube community. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Now let's get into the message. I want to talk to you about the narrow way. Matthew 7 verses 13 to 14 says, "Enter by the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate, and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it." The concept of the narrow way is found in Matthew 7, verses 13 to 14, where Jesus speaks about the narrow gate and the difficult path that leads to life. Have you ever felt like you were on a journey that seemed difficult and narrow? The narrow way represents the challenging but rewarding path of following Jesus. The first point we need to know is the narrow gate. Jesus describes the narrow gate as the entrance to the narrow way that leads to life. Just as a narrow gate requires us to leave behind baggage and enter alone, following Jesus requires us to let go of worldly comforts and follow him faithfully. We must make the intentional choice to enter through the narrow gate and commit to following Jesus no matter the cost. The second point we need to know is the difficult path. Jesus contrasts the narrow way with the broad road that leads to destruction. The broad road may seem appealing with its ease and comfort, but it ultimately leads to destruction. The narrow way, though challenging, leads to true life and eternal reward. As Christians, we are called to resist the temptations of the broad road and walk the difficult path of faithfulness to Christ. Before I get to the last point, if you want to hear more messages like this, go ahead, click the subscribe button. If you know someone who needs to hear this message, go ahead and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. The last point is the reward of the narrow way. Jesus promises that the narrow way leads to life. Just as a narrow path often leads to a beautiful destination, the narrow way of following Jesus leads to eternal life with him. We must keep our eyes on the prize of eternal life with Christ and persevere in following him faithfully, no matter the challenges we face. To recap, the narrow way is not easy, but it is worth it for the reward of eternal life with Christ. And if there's anything that you take away from this message, the narrow way represents the challenging but rewarding path of following Jesus. Let us commit to walking the narrow way of faithfulness to Christ, knowing that he is with us every step of the journey. And I pray that the Lord spoke to you during this message. And if you would like to be a part of this YouTube community, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Share this message with someone who needs to hear this message. And also let me know in the comments down below what spoke to you during this message. And until next time, God bless you.